Welcome to TrueRotarian Podcast.
This podcast is specially designed for all the true Rotarians by a true Rotarian.
Welcome to TrueRotarian Podcast, a podcast where we talk about stories which are compassionate, has courage, and joy of giving back to the society. Today's story is one of the faith, transformation, and unconditional love. My guest, Sufi Pukhraj Singh, faced one of the life's toughest challenges when his own son was diagnosed with blood cancer. But instead of giving in to despair, he discovered a new purpose to bring healing, laughter, and hope to others. He now works as a cancer guide, inspirational coach, holistic leader, using laughter therapy, Tai Chi, Qigong meditation, emotional meditation, and pure energy of love to comfort patients and their families. Ladies and gentlemen, I met this amazing soul few days ago in Goa. We were having a very good time in our place, and I asked him what does he do, and when he told me the story, and I thought my viewers of True Rotarian Podcast must also listen to a non-Rotarian who is doing a work as good or maybe better than a lot of Rotarians that I know of. Pukhraj ji, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Hemant. Thank you for having me.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we are recording this podcast in Goa. Welcome once again.
Thank you. And hello to all the Rotarians. I hope I can live up to exactly what you were saying. So, thank you.
You have seen True Rotarian Podcast, right?
Yeah, I have.
And what do you have to say on that?
Well, it's really nice to know that there are people around who are actually doing a lot to make the difference. I think we all, if we start considering ourselves, we are the privileged lot. And if we can give back to society in whatever way, whether it's through finances, whether it's through love, kindness, compassion, it's all required. And why it's so important, see, the way I look at life, we all look for happiness. So what is happiness? You can buy a nice dress, you can buy a nice car, you're happy for the next few months to come.
Yes.
But that happiness is momentary.
Yes.
For me, there's something beyond happiness, and that is joy. And joy only comes by giving back to others.
You know, your thought process is like a true Rotarian. I'm surprised that we did not meet up earlier, because whenever I talk, to people, and I always say that the Rotarians and those people who give it back to the society are special children of God. Because God has given us the wisdom, God has given us the time, God has given us the inclination to share with others. And if somebody is not happy, make sure that that person or that family or the community also is happy. Because once you have a happy and a good community, you build a strong society. And once you have a strong society, you make a strong Bharat.
Absolutely. See, I think my life transformed 12 years back.
Yeah.
And all I can say is, I think we all born with a calling, with a purpose.
Yes.
We are so caught up, we are so conditioned in a world of money, let me put it. We are so conditioned for all that we've forgotten our true purpose in life.
Yes. You know, let me start the turning point in your life, right? That was, I assume, was when your son was diagnosed with cancer. What was that moment like for you and your family?
So my son was 11 years old, and today by God's grace he's absolutely fine.
That's good.
But it was like just shocking.
He had blood cancer?
He had blood cancer. He was going to school. He was like the top in sports, and then one day, instead of coming first in the races, he came second, and we were kind of taken aback.
Oh.
And I guess we started doing a few tests, and it turned out to be leukemia, which is blood cancer. And I think life just took a somersault. Ki ye kya ho gaya? How did it happen? So that time I remember this book called Secret had come out. So every day it was just me, my wife, my daughter and my son together. And we would talk a lot on positivity, on how important the mindset is to heal. That's the only way I look at life even today. And I remember one day I said, look, you have this illness. By God's grace, you're going to be fine. Tell me how you're feeling. What are your thoughts on it? So I gave him a laptop, and in the next 40 minutes, an 11-year-old child writes to the struggle with cancer and how important the mind is for healing. So I saw the article and I was really touched.
It's amazing.
I was really touched. He wrote from the heart.
Yes.
So the first thing I did was I went to the school principal, and I said, she says, I'll get it printed in the school magazine. And right after that, so a few days later, we had a break and we were in Chandigarh. My in-laws are in Chandigarh and my father-in-law has a newspaper, and it had just gone online.
Oh, okay.
And this is a newspaper which goes to all the Punjabis of the world.
Uh-huh.
So without telling me, he printed my son's article with his photo about an 11-year-old going through cancer with my mobile number. And that's when my life changed, because in the next 10 days, I actually had thousands of people calling me up. I didn't know who these people were. I had over 100 people calling me, KG, where can we come? I said, for what? We want to donate blood. They didn't know anything except they knew that there's a child suffering from cancer. And then I had around 50 odd people saying, please give us your number, account number, we want to send you money. For me, this is, I said, this is uncanny. I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
And then I had over 1,000 people calling up. I had some granthis of different gurdwaras calling up. We are praying for your son.
Amazing.
My mobile got full with messages all the time. For me, it was like, who are these people? Kahan se aa gaye? I have not experienced something like this. And the way I actually look at it is probably I would not do the same for anybody. At least at that time of my life.
True.
And then I remember one call, this gentleman called me at 8:30 in the night, some old gentleman. He says, I read your son's article online and I worked in the farm, in my field all day. Now I've cycled 20 kilometers to STD booth to tell you I'm praying for him.
Oh.
So for me, this was
Amazing.
a different thought कि ये भी दुनिया में होता है.
Because, like I said, there are good people, there are fortunate people who enjoy the joy of giving back to the society. It was fantastic.
So right after that, this happened, and a few months later, I was still in a shock, okay, what happened? But my son's treatment was going on. A few months later, he went back to school to meet his teacher, get the books. And you could make out, he had no hair, he had a cap, he was wearing a mask. And this lady comes up we were sitting outside. This lady comes up to my wife, she says, can I speak to you? So she takes my wife out. She says, I don't know what the problem with your son is, but I'm a firm believer in Sai Baba and I would like to give him something. Right there, she takes off a gold locket of Sai Baba and she says, please tell your son to wear this. The way I looked at it wasn't Punjabis, it was the whole world praying for my son. Yes. So by God's grace, he recovered and that's when I changed my life.
Wow.
I mean, life में suffering सबको आती है.
Yes.
But your life is only beautiful when you are able to convert your suffering into your strength.
Absolutely. You see, that means you found the courage and faith to turn pain into a purpose. At that time. Am I
Absolutely.
right to assume that?
Absolutely.
And what were some of the first steps that you took emotionally and spiritually to help your son through this journey?
See, we were every day on a conversation of just positivity, just have belief.
And listening to the doctors and believing in them.
Of course. The most important thing is you have to follow the protocol the doctor gives.
Yes.
Today, I have to add, a lot of times people say, जी हम ये स्वामी के पास जा रहे हैं, हम ये आयुर्वेदिक try कर रहे हैं. That is second. But when you have cancer, you don't want to mess around. This is very, very important. So I guess after that, my life transformed because when you start thinking beyond, there's more to life.
Yes, sir.
You know, I think it was for me, the way I look at life was, it was a purpose for me to give back. And that's what, by God's grace, I've been doing the last 12 years. I joined an NGO. I used to run a daycare where I would have 50, 60 teenagers, all from a poor background, all diagnosed with cancer. And कुछ नहीं करता, कोई बीमार बैठे, just talk to him, hold his hand, try to make him smile, and in the end, just hug them.
Absolutely. Actually, my next question
Sure.
was on transformation itself. You must have taken immense strength. And what is remarkable is how you transform that experience into something that now heals so many people. You just mentioned before I could ask a question.
See, I get excited.
That's so beautiful. See, I read somewhere in one of your profiles, because after we met, since I have to talk to you, so I read a little bit on Facebook, and you did mention somewhere that the love is the greatest medicine. How did this philosophy come into you? What is the root of this philosophy when you say love is the greatest medicine?
So I'll share, when I joined this NGO, that was once a week. I guess I wanted to give back more, so I started hanging outside AIMS Hospital in Delhi. So right opposite AIMS, there's a dharamshala where there used to be 300 of the poorest patients who sleep on the floor. So kuch nahi, when I walk up to them, somebody's sick, just say, how are you doing? Kaise haal hai? You'll be surprised how many different emotions come out.
Yes.
Their pain, their suffering, their loss of everything.
Hope, belief.
Hope, belief, most important, koi haal pooch raha hai.
Yes.
In today's world, nobody has, we all don't have time for anybody. That's what we've been conditioned to. So for them, it was an upheaval of emotions. All their fears, their anxieties, they all spell out. And that's, I feel, I started realizing my own potential. Just to hear somebody talk their emotions is the first step for healing. And why I do it is because it heals me also. It gives me great joy that yes, I can be useful for others.
Yes. Because there is a life force energy is available in the universe through various methods. Even Reiki, for example, as a Reiki healer, I'm a master Reiki healer, by the way.
Wow.
And what we do is nothing. We invoke the positive energies into our system and we pass on the positivity into somebody who needs help. It is available in abundance. Similarly, love is also available in abundance. All you have to do is express that love to give comfort to people around.
So I will act on the word part because I used to take a lot of people who would join me for doing the seva. So I realized there are 300 people lying there. The way we think, most of these people would say, "Ye kaun hai?" Inse they are smelling. "Ye kaun se iska kaun sa jaat hai? Iska kaun sa mazhab hai?" It is there. It is in us. And I realized so that 7 years I was there. In the end, all I looked at everyone was in love.
Yes.
And that's what really healed me and those people. So only when you start looking beyond your conditioning, that's when you actually feel your own potential to be useful for others.
Yes. You see, a basic thing, a lot of Rotarians are very fond of tree plantation.
Okay.
You see, when they are planting a tree, they never think कि इसके नीचे कौन बैठेगा. Ladies बैठेगी, gent बैठेगा, हिंदू बैठेगा, मुस्लिम बैठेगा, जैन बैठेगा, बुद्धिज्म के लोग, बिलीफ के लोग बैठेंगे. Nothing. We just do a job. We just plant a tree because A, it is good for environment, and B, someday that tree will give comfort and joy to somebody to sit below that under the scorching heat.
So when you talk on that, I'll just share a couplet with you.
Yeah.
There's something called the Thirukul. The Thirukul are poetry written in the 900,000 AD in Tamil Nadu.
Oh, okay.
And there's a very beautiful prose, it's called 574, and it actually says, translated in English, if it cannot hold and protect the trees, the soil is useless. If it cannot love and empathize for others, the heart is useless.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, Please tell us something about your laughter therapy, Tai Chi, acupuncture, and meditation came into healing approach. How do these various vehicles?
So I guess I believe in the universe. When you are focused in what you're doing and you're giving back in whatever way, you will find your avenues. The universe will create avenues for you. I was blessed enough, few years back I met a gentleman who would actually run away from his country. He'd healed thousands of people. So he taught me something called acupressure. Acupressure is all your organs in your hand. It's to press the points in your hand. You figure out your physical ailments. Same time, a few years earlier, I had met a master from China. He actually taught me something called Tai Chi Qigong. Those are slow breathing techniques. For me, those are the most powerful therapies to heal yourself. See, why we fall sick? One reason, our lungs work around only 64-65% capacity. By doing these slow moving breathwork exercises, if your lung capacity increases just to 3-4%, you're going to have fresh oxygen in your body. You're not going to fall sick. So by God's grace, I've learned this. I was blessed enough, and I'm able to share it with so many sick people.
It's very inspiring to hear how you transformed pain into positivity and made love the foundation of healing. It's so amazing, Pukhraj. Now, you did mention that after the journey, after your son was better, and you realized that how important it is to give joy to others. How did you start helping other patients, and especially children, families dealing with cancer?
So I used to, for so many years, outside AIMS, you see all the patients, kushni, just talk to them, but besides talking, emotionally handholding. Basically what I do is emotional handhold. Okay, hold somebody's hand, talk to them. Talk to them from the heart. If you speak to somebody from the heart, his heart will open up. That's when he'll melt.
Wow.
That's when he'll share his feelings, his anxieties, fears, everything comes out. And that's when he's healing. That's when I'm also getting healed.
Yes.
The whole process is for us, the whole healing take place.
You know, apart from giving your time with passion, with love, you also spent money. I saw the Facebook again, I read somewhere also again, that you wanted to give joy to all those people and you took them to a circus. Please tell us something about that.
You really want to know? So 6-7 years
I'm
back.
sure my audience is going to be very interested in knowing that.
So this was around, I guess, 7 years back. Since this is my passion, I just looked on Facebook and there was some circus on somewhere. So I tried to connect with them in Delhi. I could not, in Noida. So I just reached there and I said, I want to take 400 patients or the poorest patients. How much is a ticket? He said 300. I said, I'll get you 400 of the poorest patients. How much would you charge? He said 100 rupees. So I sat down and calculated because I need 5 buses, I need their food, I need to organize, I need volunteers. And I said, this is going to cost me X amount. I'm in a few groups. I just posted in one group. I said, I need 1,35,000 rupees and we can take 400 patients. Can you imagine in 10 minutes I got most of the money?
Wow.
So, जब नियत साफ हो ना,
Absolutely.
तो universe help करता है.
Absolutely.
So I took all the patients out, and for them, these are all from the villages, all getting treatment at AIMS. So for them, this was the biggest thrill. When you see them laughing, seeing the clowns, seeing whatever the activities are going, for me that is a feeling that chalo ji, it's worth it. And another strange thing, there was a girl there. She was 9-10 years old, and she was, for all these children, I'm their friend, I'm their buddy. And she was there at the circus. I spoke to her, talked to her. 2 days later, a friend of mine, my close friend, had gone there, and the girl was in a lot of pain and she was very sad. So my friend asked, how was the circus? So all of a sudden the girl's kind of face lit up and she said, कि जी circus में ये हुआ, वो हुआ. Then Pukhraj sir was there. He helped me, he made me laugh. So the circus changed the whole thing. Strangely, 2 days later that girl passed away.
Oh.
But the only way I look at it is that circus for me was worthwhile. At least that girl had a beautiful last 2-3 days of a life.
Yes.
When I'm with patients, I don't give anybody hope. I'm not there to say कि जी आप ठीक हो जाओगे. But किसी की जर्नी में आपने अगर उसको स्माइल करा दिया, उसके लिए खिलौने ले लिए, उसके लिए कुछ खाना दे दिया, how can I get better than that?
Wow, absolutely great. Well, I met you only once, right?
Right.
But I read about you before we sitting.
Hanji.
You are also helping young addicts, right? Tell us something about that.
So 6 years back, I went to a juvenile jail for the first time, and they were these all teenagers, drug addicts, and they are usually there for 3 months. So there I did a therapy with them where I kind of made them feel relaxed. I went with a group of people. Then in the end I said, share a child with me who's a little unwell. This is 11 साल का बच्चा है, इसका दिमाग नहीं चलता. So I walked up to this child and I said, hi, मेरा नाम पुखराज है, मेरा दोस्त बनेगा? He looked up, he says, हाँ, ऐसे दोस्त बनेगा तो हाथ मिला. So I took him to a separate room and I held his hand. It's very important, a nice touch is very important. So मैंने कहा अपने बारे, first I spoke 5 minutes about myself. I said अपने बारे कुछ बता, अब तुम मेरा दोस्त बन गया है. कहते सर मैं 9 साल की उम्र से मैं नशा कर रहा हूँ. मेरे घर में खाली बस्ती में रहता हूँ, मेरा दादा है, तो मैं 2 बारी चोरी करते पकड़ा गया हूँ और मैं ये जेल आ गया हूँ. तो he looked up at मुझे सुना रहा था. I said वाह तेरी तो बहुत बड़ी ऐश की लाइफ है. He was shocked कि what is sir saying? He said नहीं सर मैं तंग आ गया हूँ. तो ऐसे तंग आ गया, क्या करना चाहते हैं? कहते सर मैं पढ़ाई करना चाहता हूँ. तो मैंने कहा तुझे लिखना आता है? कहते हैं हाँ. तो मैंने कहा कल से you start writing. I want you to write 30 times in the morning, 30 times in the evening. Thank you नशा, मुझे पढ़ाई करने दे. And for me this comes spontaneously. I don't like to think or plan. So he just looked up.
Thank you नशा.
अब मुझे पढ़ाई करने दे.
अब मुझे पढ़ाई करने दे.
ऐसे सुबह तू लिखेगा और शाम को लिखेगा, कल से start कर. And he looked up, asking why. I said, look, cells in a body don't understand. A mind doesn't understand unless you make it into a routine. तो अगर आप सुबह और शाम लिख रहे हो, तो तुम अपने बॉडी के सेल्स को कह रहे हो, दिस इज व्हाट आई वांट टू डू. ऐसे तू कल से लिखना शुरू कर और 15 दिन के बाद मैं तुझे मिलने आऊंगा और अगर तूने ये किया हुआ तेरे अगले 10 साल की पढ़ाई मैं कराऊंगा. The instant I said this to the child, all I remember was his face. It was like a little puppy, and you know what he said? Sir, आप मुझसे मिलने आओगे. It was not even the studies. All that child wanted was somebody to tell him, I'm there for you, buddy.
Wow.
So for us, it's not him. There I realized it's for all of us. What are we looking for in this life? Today, I meet people who have everything. We're still lost. We are looking for somebody to hold a hand in a nice way, to tell us we are there for you. We've forgotten it all, and it's all love. So I just told this child, you do this. And I hugged him and I left. I said, kal se shuru kar. Can you imagine? Half an hour later, I said, let me see where this child is. He was already writing. He already started writing. I went 15 days later. He had actually written every day with the date, and he'd done drawings of him and his friends having the injections. So for me, this was quite an experience. It's all of us. We're looking for that kind touch. कोई दिल से बात करे. We've forgotten it all.
You're turning personal struggle into a moment of compassion is what makes your story so powerful.
Thank you.
Now let's come to our next segment. You also describe yourself as a Sufi Sikh. Can you please tell us what does this mean and how did it guide your approach to healing?
Well, I think I'm always on a journey for myself on self-introspection. And 2-3 years back, I just started adding the word Sufi to the Sikh. Because see, the Sufis began as the mystic side of Islam, and they believe in divine love. And their purpose is to activate your color, which is your spiritual heart. And that is by letting go of your nafs, your ego. When you let go of that, then you're filled with love. That is the Sufi side. The Sikhi side for me is Sikhi means a disciple, it also means a learner. Somebody is always learning all the
yes.
time. So when I wear a turban, I feel I carry the legacy of my gurus, and whatever I learned from that legacy was to give back, to do seva. So for me, this is the best combination I can have, where I'm feeling the divine love all the time, as well as able to give back in every way possible. I do a different kind of seva, which is not based on love, on langar. It is based on love.
Love, absolutely. Wonderful. In today's stressful world, what simple practices can be followed by somebody and also for the audience who want to stay emotionally balanced and kind-hearted?
I've met a lot of people who say, when we grow old, when we have enough funds, we would also like to be like you. I tell them, itna dhamak na lagao. When you're on the road, when you're sitting in an Uber, say hello to the Uber driver, ask him, can I get you something cold? Kuch thanda garam piyoge? When you're out there, if somebody's on the road asking for something, khana khila do. किसी से दिल से बात कर लो. जब आप होटल में जाते हो, somebody opens the door for you, be kind enough to thank him. That is the first step for healing, when you change your whole thought process.
Every word that you said for the last few minutes, it radiates peace and wisdom and love.
Thank you.
It feels like every sentence has come from your heart and from within. Such a wonderful thing. Let's talk about one more thing. What advice would you like to give it to the parents whose children got cancer or they are addicts? What advice would you like to give to them?
So whether somebody is an addict or whether somebody's got cancer, all I'll say is don't hide it first of all. I've seen it's like a social taboo at all statuses of society. Why hide it? You never know कहाँ से किसकी prayers लग जाए, किसी की दुआएं लग जाए. Today cancer is not a big deal. Every 1 in 8 people in the world get it. So let's not make it into a big deal. And I think the most important thing for this illness is the attitude towards it. आप अगर कहोगे मैं बीमार हो गया, मैं लुट गया, तो आप लुट गए. आप say not a big deal. There is more beyond your illness. It's your mind. For me, the mind is my 10 years of being, 12 years of being there, getting awareness for myself. The mind is the most powerful thing for any therapy. There is a saying, to heal the body, you have to heal the mind first.
Yes.
So they have to go hand in hand.
Wow. And what is your dream for the future?
Honestly, I don't dream. I leave things for the Almighty. All I do is, I'm blessed enough. I have a purpose. Whether I meet 1 people, whether I meet 100 people, whether through this interview right now I can influence other people. All I'll say is, just be kind to yourself. But the only way you can be kind to yourself is by loving others.
Well, thank you so much, Pukhraj ji, for your opening your heart and sharing your divine journey with us. Your story reminds us that love, faith can heal not only one family, but it can heal the entire world. Friends, if you like today's story, if you are moved by the kind of work which Pukhraj is doing, please like and share this video. And this is your friend, AKS Rotarian Hemant Bhasin, signing off from TrueRotarian Podcast from Goa. And if you also have a story or an incident or a project to share, please do write to us. It will be my honor and pleasure to call you to my show. Thank you so much. Jai Hind. Thank you, Pukhraj ji.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So wonderful.